beat, on the beat. A true player out of Oklahoma City, east side. Dropping game once again. Boys still tripping on what Vino once said. So now it's Vino versus the beat. Get you a blunt and a bottle, it's so gang. What it do, what it do, what it do? It's your host, Vino the Most. Back for another classic in Vino's comments. Yeah, you know how we doing it. In Vino's comments, make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up. You know, I'm glad that you showed up to comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and do it again. You heard me? Now, this episode 1 of Sanctuary Cities Are Dangerous for FBAs. Chicago. We on the west side. So I'm doing some YouTube surfing today, and I come across a school in Chicago called Frederick Douglass, and it resonated with me because of the fact that it's a Douglass in my city, Oklahoma City, a black school, Frederick Douglass High School. You know what I'm saying? Black school on the east side of Oklahoma City. And I'm pretty sure that majority of the Frederick Douglass high schools within America was built for the black students or the black community within that city. Up in Tulsa, they got a Booker T. Washington. I'm pretty sure a lot of different cities within America. The Booker T. Washington is a black majority type high school within America. So, when they said that the enrollment was down more than normal, and we've been seeing what Chicago been going through with, you know, as far as the sanctuary city, a lot of illegal immigrants. ICE been up there. They've been saying ever since ICE came, a lot of people didn't want to go to school. A lot of people didn't want to go to school since ICE came, for the simple fact there's a lot of illegal immigrants within Chicago. A city where, matter of fact, let's just look at the definition of the sanctuary city. So we got sanctuary city is a municipality that limits and denies its cooperation with the national government in enforcing immigration laws. Proponents of sanctuary cities cites motives such as reducing the fear of undocumented people affected by deportation, separation of immigrant families, reporting crimes, using health and social services, and enrolling their children into school. Now, keep in mind that all this is on the taxpayers' money. This is all on the taxpayers' money. Opponents of sanctuary cities argue that they undermine the rule of law. That's true, by not cooperating with federal immigration laws. The same way, because I feel like that they cooperated when it came down to black people. They cooperated big time when it came down to black people, tearing down neighborhoods, not helping certain communities, and not helping us prosper. But it looked like that they fighting hard. Came up with a whole task force for illegal immigrants. They also highlight concerns about public safety, pointing to cases where a person involved in violent crimes was released instead of being handed over to proper authorities. Critics claim that sanctuary cities act as magnets for illegal immigration, attracting more people to enter unlawfully. They also they also argue that these cities place a strain on local resources as people who have illegally immigrated may access public services like healthcare, housing, and education. So we first to look at the damage. Chief 18, what it do, big dog? Chief 18 coming through by all the chicken wings. You know how we doing it. But we gonna take a look and see how the sanctuary cities affected the FBAs in Chicago, particularly the west side of Chicago when it comes to Frederick Douglass Academy. When it comes to Frederick Douglass Academy. Uh, Now let's see if I can get a little bit more. Hold on, let me get some more. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at this. I just got it. Copilot chat, with Chat GTP, a Copilot search, and we're gonna take a small little history into Frederick Douglass Academy high school in Chicago was indeed a school serving black students in the 1970s, but it was not a magnet school at the time. The school, located in the Austin neighborhood on the west side, was historically a predominant black institution and a point of pride for the community. In the 1970s, Chicago magnet schools movement was still in its early stages, with the first magnet schools opening in the late 1960s, early 1970s as part of desegregation efforts and to counter white flight. These programs were designed to attract students from diverse backgrounds, but they were not yet widespread. By the mid to late 1970s, Douglass Academy was still operating as a neighborhood school, not a magnet, and its student body reflected the demographics of the Austin community at the time. The school's history shows it was a long-standing institution for black students with a strong community presence before later change in enrollment and governance. While while it did not have a magnet program in the 1970s, it remained a significant educational and culture hub for the neighborhood during that era. Now, I'll bring this up and we're going to look at a couple of images also. Now, I'll bring this up. Uh, Now, I'll bring this up. Uh, Now, I bring this up for the fact that we've been going through a lot within America, black Americans, trying to be recognized equally, trying to be, even though we don't strive from where we was at in the beginning, from what they say, to where we at right now, but it's still a little bit uncomfortable. It's still a lot of biasness. It's still a lot of racism going on. It's still a lot of segregation going on and integration going on, uh, prejudice going on towards black people within America. So it's really heartbreaking, and it really make me mad when I see that America is fighting hard for illegal immigrants, Doing everything, getting them out of crime, making sure they helping them out, giving them food, giving them money, giving them somewhere to live, uh, giving them good jobs, um, and like really, really trying to help these people. And we got so many examples where black people was trying to get established over here. We just started programs like the Black Panthers. It led to different gang groups, that was trying to get established within their area, just trying to figure out how to live better within the society. And they were denied a lot of programs. They were denied a lot of grants. They were denied a lot of things that could make it comfortable to them and make it better for them to make them more prosperous within the city and, as far as them coming up and stuff like that. And it was just denied, denied, denied. And I just find that really heartbreaking when I'm seeing that they going out of their way to help all illegal immigrants to where they saying, should nobody be deported? Should nobody go to jail? We don't need police no more. We freezing rent. We doing everything for these particular people when the black people, the FBAs in particular, was the ones that really helped this country with FWAs build the country up to where it's at right now. And during that whole time frame, FBAs have been mistreated and they are owed reparations to be repaired from what have happened to our society over here within America. It ain't always been all good. It's not always all good. You know what I'm saying? But we striving to make it better. But it's crazy that they just, because a lot of these people just got over here in the 1900s, mid 1900s. I say the late 1900s, and they getting big help. They getting so much help. They wasn't looked at like us. They didn't have uh, drug wars put on them. They weren't, and then they used our fight and our struggle to say, "Well, I'm black," or they trying to say that, well, as far as like the people that's coming from Africa, but as far as like the Mexicans and other people that's illegal immigrants that's not from America use our fight and our struggle to say, well, you're not treating me right. You're not giving me, like our same little the playbook on getting civil rights, on making sure that the government is taking care of us and doing what they're supposed to do and stuff like that. And I can see because they're like, okay, it worked for them, it got to work for us. And I see them pushing the line, but I just find it really disheartening that they there's nothing wrong with helping these people and doing stuff, but you gotta take her home first. And I feel like that they been just pushing black people to the side for a long time. Been pushing black people, FBAs, and we're gonna look in Chicago, on the west side of Chicago, to where we should have had programs uh, to slow down the gang culture and the killings within Chicago, to where it should have more police officers, more community police, have that funded, have more programs funded, have more transportation programs. There's more. Uh, it could be sports, it could be art, uh, it could be with tech work, it could be STEM, it could be plumbing, roofing, getting these kids and stuff to do, and the people that's teaching them or the people that's going to be chaperoning them having a paycheck for them through the government, creating jobs the same way that the Somalians had created jobs, daycares, adult daycares, where the Somalians had the child daycares, and we finding out that the Asians is doing the adult daycares where they is getting government grants and government funding to be able to do these things, to be able to help their community, and they making money even though they doing fraud with it. But we can't even get in the door to even just help our people because it's been so much hate towards black people. And I just find that unfortunate that we still find ourselves in this position and we keep falling for the wrong politicians thinking that they're going to help us when at the end of the day, as far as the Democrats, when they really never, I mean, yeah, they gave us welfare, they gave us things within in the mid 1900s when the Republicans did kick out or push a line to push out Black Americans within politics and within government and stuff like that, within like the Black Republicans, to where wasn't getting any backing from Republicans, so they sided with Democrats, and it been like, okay, because like when I talk to some older people within my neighborhood or some of the older people that I know, they say, well, when I grew up in the '60s and '70s, Democrats was black and the Republicans was white. The ones that didn't like us, so that's how they grew up. That's just how they grew up. But when in my era, whenever I'm looking at it, uh, and I'm looking more at the fact that it's about the American life and preserving the American lifestyle and what we have strived throughout history to where we at right now, and we trying to get it better. Um, I feel like that MAGA and Republicans is the best one because it's all about America, just like when they won the Civil War, which the Republicans was built off of uh, anti-slavery uh, abolitionists, and uh, that's what it was formed from. You know what I'm saying? To help black people within America. And I can see where the Democrats is at to where they trying to help the world. See, that's what I'm saying. They trying to help the world to where they'll let the world come in and undermine what, even though the foundation is a lot of white man product, but to undermine what the white man and black people within America done built this up to, what all we done been through, to make it work for us over here, and to just turn around and say, well, we gonna take care of the world while black people over here still kind of going through it. And I just find that kind of crazy. But yes, as you see, these are some of the pictures uh, from their era in the '70s in Chicago. Um, so I guess they just ain't showing the Douglas in Chicago like that. But it's all good. It's all good. But back to it. Back to the program. The government, Democrats, because Democrats run this city. Democrats have let down the black people, which they say, well, well, the black people is the ones that's running. We got a black mayor, we got you know what I'm saying? But before that, it was all white. But they started kind of letting black people hold certain positions and doing certain things within the last 30, 40 years, uh, where it's kind of like a handful and stuff like that, where they'll say, well, well, it's black, but it's a black person there. It's a black chief for the police department. It's a black DA or something like that, or like the black mayor or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So they'll like, well, but at, try to put that in front of us and say, well, it's black people that's running this, and you know what I'm saying? They should be doing things for us, but it's going on a Democratic the program, which is more about illegal immigrants. It's more about the world. It's more about taking care of the world, and we all gonna work together as far as everything that's not white. That's not a white man to go against a white man within America. But at the end of the day, we know that the white man is damn near paying everybody over here, and it's constantly putting black people in positions to be able to uh, uh, be some of the wealthiest people within the world. Uh, but as we see, uh, a lot, a lot of those opportunities been going to illegal immigrants, been going to people that ain't even been born over here, that um, really don't have, really not at heart Americans. Like FBAs and FWAs is at heart American, not really representing another country, not showing another flag, not doing another that, pushing America. And the Democrats, I feel like, is about the world and not about America. Republicans is more about the not saying they not about the world, but it's more about America through the mega party. Through the mega party. And shout out to Trump for, tightening up on ICE, putting a magnifying glass on illegal immigrants in the border and how they taking jobs from black people and how they in the black community and they taking benefits and um, to where and when I say taking benefits to where they say, well, if a black person is making this much money that they don't qualify for this because you already making this enough money and they just kind of getting themselves up out of wherever they coming from because they know black people being in a whole bunch of crazy stuff for a long time within America, and we kind of just getting ourselves together. Then they just throw us away from being able to get assistance and be able to uh, have access to these programs to where we be able to stack our money up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We'll be able to do a little bit more to be able to, have a better future instead of struggling every majority of black people going paycheck for paycheck. Not saying that Americans and everybody not going paycheck for paycheck, but if there is extra money to be given out to illegal immigrants that's not even documented, born somewhere else, committing crimes and doing all these other stuff, it's a lot of money that's being funded towards them. That should be allocated towards the FBAs within reparations and be able to make sure that we striving within America because we not going nowhere. And if they keep on denying us and they keep on, there's going to be more and more people in the prison, more people coming up with their own mob stuff, just mobbing instead of being part of society, which we have pushed back from society because of all the hatred, bias, and racist and prejudice that we have endured throughout the years, even though it have got better. But we still got a bad taste in our mouth with white people within America. But we rather live in America than anywhere else because we will be able to prosper more within America than anywhere else because we have built up our uh, credibility. We have built up uh, our bond with America to say, okay, this is our country. We fight for this. We this is where our family at. This is where we want to do good. Is that this is where we want to hold it. That this is where we hold it down. At this is where we try our best. This is where we build. This is where we live. And black people have been excluded and black people have also took themselves out of these positions to where they don't even want to deal with white people, and then we will complain, but then people be like, well, you don't even participate with voting, you don't even do this, you don't even give yourself a chance, you don't even go down there to go try to get to the programs, because there been a lot of denial, and just trying to find a way to twist us, trying to get us locked up, trying to find just a way to just make it a little bit harder for us. So we try to stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? We try to stay away from it, but we still complain because we still live within society and we still deal with the bullshit. So it's something that we deal with within America over here. But let me get into the video that caught my attention on this whole little situation right here.
Public schools trying to balance its budget through furloughs, layoffs, and spending freezes. We've been telling you all about this the last couple of weeks, but some say they're missing the opportunity to close underutilized schools.
Yeah, this is always a hot button issue. That includes Frederick Douglass High School, now the emptiest big school, not just here in the city of Chicago. We're talking about in the entire nation. It was built to serve 1,000 kids. To date, only 27 students are enrolled. 27. Joining us now is Austin Berg, executive director.
We read that Frederick Douglass was built in the 1960s for the black community. It could have 1,000 students. within the school in 1960, and it was just reported in 2027 that it's only 27 kids enrolled. Now, is that a failure on the parents? Is that a failure on the community and the government and the city officials? Is that a is that because of the illegal immigrants? Is that because of illegal immigrants or people that's not really Americans that's in these positions within America um, that's making it harder for black people to achieve within these same areas? As you see that we are declining. Frederick Douglass Academy is the emptiest big school in America. The emptiest biggest school in America, Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass. This is a black school. Now, was the school, now we're gonna take a look.
Director of the Chicago Policy Center. I know you did a lot of work on this. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here. You say in your article that Douglass illustrates the consequences of poor facilities planning, fewer opportunities for students, and higher costs for taxpayers. We were just talking about this. Why hasn't this school been closed? 28 full-time staff members, 27 students. The math isn't math in here.
Math is not math.
So they said 28 full-time staff members. They say why they ain't closed the historic Frederick Douglass High School in Chicago. They saying that it should be shut down. They saying it should be shut down. This school right here. Frederick Douglass Academy High School. What up? Frederick Douglass Academy High School saying they should be shut down. Look at that. That is a black school. It got black people, black students, black teachers, the Tigers. The future, past, and the present. We know what the past we done been through. One time we was in the present when they built it. In the future, I'm pretty sure that the future that they was thinking is not to where they first to get shut down in 2026. Not even 100 years. Not even 100 years. Staff members. Got a black principal, Mr. Durr. Got a black assistant principal. Got black teachers. White teacher. White teacher. Got some black student. Got a black teacher. Black teacher. Some more black teachers. This is the staff. This is the staff. This is the staff. So the history, they just talking about Frederick Douglass. They're not really going into the school history. But do you think they had in mind when they built this school for the black community. Come on. That's it. They got 6 people on their basketball team. Only 6. They only got 6. They only got 6 students. Do they even got a football team? Don't even got a football team. They got a girls basketball team. Girls basketball team more than the boys. Boys is dying at a high rate in Chicago. No participation in sports. Baseball. No baseball team. Cheerleading. You got 4 cheerleaders. Chicago is a black city. Volleyball. Volleyball team deep. Volleyball team got more players than the boys basketball team. In Chicago. In Chicago. That's crazy, man. And that's what I say about the FBAs. That's why I say the FBAs in Chicago, West Side Chicago. And we're going to take a look at the history. We're going to take a blast down from the past and take a look at Chicago. I'm not from Chicago. I'm coming from Oklahoma City. I'm just looking on the outside, looking in. And when they say that Chicago is a sanctuary city, and I'm seeing that they doing big protests in Chicago for the illegal immigrants, the judges up there is, going out their way to help these people. It's just fight hard for them and for our schools to be shut down. Kids not going to school to where they got money for their kids and their families and stuff like that, but not putting money towards our communities. I know those black men within those communities up in society been asking for grants, been asking for help from the government. We need this, we need that. But they ended up building the Obama little museum or library. Built the library and but Frederick Douglass fit to get shut down. Got millions of dollars for that. But Frederick Douglass fit to get shut down. Ain't got no programs for the young man to be able to protect the neighborhood more as far as patrolling, getting a better, being out more, probably working with law enforcement to be able to go into other neighborhoods, talk to other people, to stop the rowdiness in Chicago. What they say on Juneteenth, 40 people got shot, 13 people was died or something like that. All black on black crime. Even though some other stuff happened, but 40 people for sure in one day on Juneteenth. And I think that the reason that they ain't got a boys basketball team or football team is because the boys they not thinking about that. They thinking about surviving. They thinking about they gotta make certain decisions because of the living, and it should be programs for them to where they shouldn't be thinking like that. That's what I'm talking about. They should be in programs, not getting involved with the stuff they have to get involved in. It should be funding for that. It should be funding for that. But as we see, that it looked like Chicago is not in a good place. They lost Chicago Bears. They lost the football team. They moving to Indiana. It's just that's crazy.
Talking about this. Why hasn't this school been closed? 28 full-time staff members, 27 students. The math isn't mathing here.
Math is not mathing. More full-time employees than students, almost double the number of classrooms as students at Frederick Douglass Academy. These statistics of the common person in Chicago are just shocking. And the reason is that Chicago Public Schools has no framework right now that is public for what happens, what are the minimum standards for enrollment and performance at a school. And by the way, what are the high bar standards that would trigger replication of a school? We lack a framework for both. In the absence of that framework, all we have in Chicago is a moratorium on school consolidation. So we don't have a real plan. We simply have a big sign that says no, and that is not serving kids well.
Okay, let's put that graphic back up, please. Cost per student, and I assume this is through all of Chicago public schools, is 93 or was it 98? 93 or 98,000
At Douglass High School, we are spending $93,000.
That is more than the average person in the city of Chicago makes, the head of household. I mean, that is incredible. How is that even possible?
It happens when you have a massive building. Like imagine what it would cost per person in your household if you had a household built for 100 times as many people as are in your family, right? Those costs add up really quickly. And I should mention too, those statistics are just sort of are so shocking because we often hear about how Chicago Public Schools is cash strapped. And then you look at a school like this where it's so clear these resources are being used poorly. But it's not just a poor outcome for the district or for taxpayers, it's really driving poor outcomes for students there. So 100% of seniors at Frederick Douglass are chronically absent, meaning that they miss more than 10 days of school per year. No 11th grader could read or do math at grade level. And that's what...
No 11th grader at Douglass High School. Historical black school within America and a great city like Chicago, a historical black city like Chicago, kids in the 11th grade can't read at the 11th grade level. Nobody. Now, I don't know if this is Frederick Douglass High School that they're showing, but it looked like it's a lot of not black people. They got one black girl. One black girl. Look like a lot of Hispanic, Latino type people within this classroom. So I'm not sure if this is Frederick Douglass that they're showing.
We would expect from a school that can't really offer...
I don't know why they would be showing another school if they're talking about Frederick Douglass.
The extracurriculars that are so enriching, class, a breadth of different classes, just because there are so few students there.
Oh, I got so many questions, Austin. I really do. This one, I think, will fire up most people.
So, is this the Democrats' fault within Chicago that the reason? I'm blaming it on the Democrats. I'm blaming it on the city officials. I don't know what type of program they got for the black community. I don't know what kind of plans they got for the black community, but it definitely looked like they got plans for illegal immigrants or people that's not documented or people that's freshly over here, for them to be fully established, for them to be able to have good jobs, for them to be able to have free schooling, for them to be able to have free health care, for them to be able to have free food and housing and be able to get up on their feet when we've been fighting Even though they probably let a couple black people within a certain space, but it been a lot of unjust stuff going on to black people for hundreds of years in America, and it's still going on. But it's black people within the positions that can help us. It's black people within uh in government and within these city positions of authority and police chiefs and city manager and city uh council members, like, but I think it's not a black, it gotta be a push for us. Reparations. I'm not understanding how this is happening.
Fired up because then you hear from the Chicago Public Schools, specifically CTU, calling for more money from the state. And so you see a situation like this, and you're like, what are you spending the money on? Have you gotten a response from CPS, CTU on why this facility has remained open? And how long has this been going on?
This has been going on for years. I mean, more than a decade. We see considerable decline in the number of students enrolled at the school as
And you know what's so crazy?
families have voted with their.
And you know what's so crazy is that a black woman, a black woman is saying, why isn't Frederick Douglass shut down? The historical black high school on the west side of Chicago that was for a predominant black neighborhood in a big city within America, where black people have history within this city for hundreds of years, for our school to be shut down and for our teachers to be fired and for them to be hiring bilinguals, but teachers. They firing traditional American teachers, but they hiring bilingual teachers. Is sanctuary cities dangerous for FBAs? Are sanctuary cities dangerous for FBAs in Chicago? They gonna lay off 760 teachers. They paying $93,000 per student for this one school. Frederick Douglass, only 27 students enrolled. $143 million went towards the school in last year. So somebody making some money. Somebody's benefiting from. Black people in Chicago is not benefiting from that.
Feet, but you make such a critical point in the number of students enrolled at the school as families have voted with their feet. But you make such a critical point there. The school district is in a position where it is increasingly needing to go to the state for additional resources. Imagine you are a state lawmaker and you are, you're sitting in your office and a lobbyist comes to you saying, hey, we need more money for Chicago public schools. How can you feel good about that decision when you have a school that's spending $93,000 per student per year and it is only 3% utilized, the emptiest big city school in the country? So it hurts the district's ability to advocate for itself at the state level. I will say that Mayor Brandon Johnson and the Chicago Teachers Union.
Now they put Frederick Douglass' name is on a is on a list to where we shouldn't be funding Frederick Douglass High School. Ain't no students there. Ain't nobody going to school there. They can't hold students there. Ain't nobody put money towards this fucking school. Government money towards this school. What the fuck, man? I mean, how is illegal immigrants getting all this help when this is something that's foundational to America?
And when faced with questions about under-enrolled schools like this, they point to a model that they use called the Sustainable Community Schools model, which is more about providing additional staff and additional wraparound services at schools. But the problem with that model is that in the eight high schools that have used Sustainable Community Schools, that model since 2018, we see proficiency is down, enrollment is down, absenteeism is up, and spending is up. So it's not a model that really can turn around these schools. What we really need is a framework.
So this is programs just to put money in grown-ups' pockets. This is not to benefit kids. It gotta be targeted for kids, not just. I understand people got jobs, but within that job, it gotta be to target kids. That's it. Like, have them pipelines into law enforcement, pipelining into some type of security, cyber security, pipelining into the Army pipelining, but within the meantime, programs to where they coming to school. They got a way to school. It's safe for them to come to school. It's okay. It's stuff. It's people that's looking over to make sure that everything is gonna be okay. Got eyes everywhere at all times. We gotta put that. Don't cost. We gotta take care of it to improve it. Or we going to a place or it's going to a place where we will not be able to bounce back in America. If we keep going down this democratic sanctuary city mess, we would not. We going behind. We're like right in front of our eyes. We in second place right now, trying to get first. It's a tough fight. But now we supposed to be in third place to the world within our own country. The world is going to have more benefits and more opportunities and more authority in our own country than us.
We're calling for a blue ribbon commission from the newly elected school board in November that can actually build a framework for how do we properly use our facilities to better serve students.
I'm just going to ask the question that everybody at home is asking. And look, Tia and I get it. We were here during the Rahm Emanuel administration. You know the blowback he got from closing 50 CPS schools. But why can we not just get to the point where we're like, this is not making ends meet. We got to close schools like this.
I think most people are at that point. And what I would really expect and ask viewers to think about as they take votes in November for the first fully elected school board in Chicago history is who are those candidates that are ready on day one at this Chicago school board fully elected to take on some of these really big issues. If they're not ready with that plan on day one, they're going to be floundering and dealing with crises every day. There's a lot of challenges at Chicago public schools. That is why we're calling for this excellence agenda at CPS, and that includes a Blue Ribbon Commission for planning facilities better.
Austin, really quickly, because they've given us the wrap here, but I have to ask this question. If they were to close this school, Frederick Douglass, where is the nearest school, the closest school?
There are several schools in Austin where these students could go, and indeed, many students at the school have already chosen other schools. So this is a small number of students. They should be served well, but this current school model at Frederick Douglass is clearly just not working for anyone.
Austin, we'd like to touch base with you again because it's a really insightful article. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Man. A school built in 1960 in the name of Frederick Douglass, a Black American legend, hero, one of our staples over here, one of our cornerstones, one of our uh, leaders within black people within America, one of the four forefathers of a big dog within America, Big Man. You know what I'm saying? Within the politicals, government, schooling, and any type of way that was beneficial to black people. Uh, Frederick Douglass was one of those. He was one of those giants. And for in a city like Chicago, where the black community is historically strong, the black community is historically uh, one of the top black cities within America, one of the big brothers, one of the cities where a lot of black people within America imitate Chicago. Kind of want to be like Chicago, want to live like Chicago, talk like Chicago, do the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? Feeling a connection, to Chicago. And for one of the historical schools to be let down by city officials, Democrats, that right now in 2026, Frederick Douglass School only got 27 enrolled students, but the most important thing to the city officials or to the Democrats or the people that's in power is to be able to find a way to fight for immigrants other than fighting for the black people that be in here to make sure they gonna be okay. Now I understand they trying to make sure a lot of people's okay, but I'm not understanding taking care of the world before taking care of the foundational black people within America. And that's why I got to give it up to Domo and them when they say it's a systematic racism. Well, it's racism systematically to where it's already hatred towards black people within America where they do little crazy little things, little hatred things to hold us back to make sure that they not going the extra to make sure that we okay, but they'll go the extra for people that's not even from here. People that really don't even believe in America, people that want to change America, people that want to take down America, people that want to uh, go against the American way, even though we go against we fight the government and the ways of America to make it comfortable for us, but we are within America is operating within because this society and this program has put us in a position so we do respect it. So we just not automatically shitting it on it, but we are fighting to make it more comfortable for us. And for us to be at 1,000 in the 1960s, there's way more people there. Come on now. And we only at 27 on the west side, right by K-Town. K-Town, I remember hearing about K-Town on Twister, the rapper Twister. My third favorite rapper, I got E40, Mac Dre, and Twister. Them was my top 3 rappers of all time. And I heard about K-Town. K-Town is right down the street from this school, right down the street. home of the vice lords and the four corner hustlers. Historically, black men establishing themselves because of they're trying to find a way after being hated on and being, just the racist shit going on within the 60s, and they're not able to get jobs, them being denied, just continue being denied things in the funding that will make the community better. But then we left with whatever we're gonna do, and now we end up to where 40 people getting shot on Juneteenth because that's just the code of what we have made of the situation that we in because of no pinpoint assistance, no really care of assistance for black people, just band-aids, but no cures, just band-aids. But we're going to take a look at the most dangerous west side in America, Chicago, Illinois. So we're going to get a little bit of history of this area in the Austin area. You got Austin, K-Town. You know what I'm saying? They kind of right next to it. You got the east of Cicero and the west of Cicero. Kind of northwest, southeast. Just kind of like basically right there by each other.
The West Side is one of Chicago's three major geographic regions, along with the North Side and the South Side. It is home to several neighborhoods that have played a crucial role in the city's cultural and historical development, shaping Chicago's identity over generations. However, Chicago's West Side has long battled a complex web of violence, gang activity, and structural challenges. Gang rivalry, especially among major groups like the Latin Kings, Vice Lords, Black P. Stones, and others, have fueled cycles of retaliation, shootings, and fear. The violence doesn't just occur behind closed doors. It plays out on commercial corridors and abandoned lots, around transit stops, and in neighborhoods where safe spaces are scarce. The West Side of Chicago bears a lot of the city's violence. In 2021, the 11th Police District, which covers Austin, West Garfield Park, North Lawndale, and parts of East Garfield, recorded 105 homicides. By 2022, the Harrison District, encompassing much of the West Side, reported 353 shooting victims. Overall, nearly 9 out of 10 shootings in Chicago occur on the south and west sides, highlighting the concentration of gun violence in these communities.
Now, did you hear those numbers? Now, let's bring that back. This is the final product of the city not investing into the black community after hella racism, hella denials, just making it real difficult for black people within America on the west side of Chicago. Just like I said, where we start having government in the streets, where they call politicking in the streets. That's where we eat. That's where we feel more comfortable at. That's where we feel more like we is more comfortable in the streets than dealing with government or going in there or doing any of that. And that's the coincidence of the government. That's why we owe reparations. This is a prime example of why we owe reparations. This is what happens. And this is why in 2026 also that Frederick Douglass went from 1,000 students to be there in 1960 to only 27 in 2026.
Over generations. However, Chicago's West Side has long battled a complex web of violence, gang activity, and structural challenges. Gang rivalry, especially among major groups like the Latin Kings, Vice Lords, Black P. Stones, and others, have fueled cycles of retaliation, shootings, and fear. The violence doesn't just occur behind closed doors. It plays out on commercial corridors, in abandoned lots, around transit stops, and in neighborhoods where safe spaces are scarce. The West Side of Chicago bears a lot of the city's violence. In 2021, the 11th Police District, which covers Austin, West Garfield Park, North Lawndale, and parts of East Garfield, recorded 105.
So that area, that's the area that I'm talking about, that is the Austin area and the in K-Town. You got Austin, West Garfield, North Lawndale, East Garfield. That's all K-Town. Them three right there by Austin is Austin. Just in 2021, just in that little neighborhood. There's 105 homicides. Just in those two neighborhoods, just in those two sections, 105 homicides.
Homicide North, the 11th Police District, which covers Austin, West Garfield Park, North Lawndale, and parts of East Garfield, recorded 105 homicides. By 2022, the Harrison District, encompassing much of the West Side, reported 353 shooting victims. Overall, nearly 9 out of 10 shootings in Chicago occur on the South and West Sides, highlighting the concentration of gun violence in these communities.
That was Twister that you just heard. Twister, one of the fastest rapper at one time.
Austin. Austin is bordered by the Belt.
Now, Austin, they see where they got it bordered at. This is where the school is at within this district. And it's like somewhere within this area right here. Like right over here within this area. It's right here. Right here where I'm circling it.
Railway just east of Cicero Avenue on the east, the Milwaukee District West Line to the north, and Roosevelt Road to the south. Austin is the third largest community area in Chicago by population, with 96,753 residents, surpassed only by the near North Side and Lakeview. Austin is also the second largest neighborhood in total land area. Crime in Austin is significantly higher than the national average. Overall crime rates sit at about 113% above the U.S. average, and violent crime climbs even further, roughly 173% higher. For residents, that translates into a stark reality. In Austin, there is about a 1 in 23 chance of becoming a victim of crime.
There were multiple shootings over the weekend, including 3 in the Austin neighborhood.
2 people were killed and many others were wounded. Winnie George is live at police headquarters with more. Winnie?
Good morning. Well, these shootings happening within hours apart. The victims, a 22-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man, he has now been identified as Caleb Williams. Now, the first shooting happening around 1:45 a.m. Sunday in the 200 block of North Lamont Avenue. A 20-year-old woman was shot in the arm multiple times. She was taken to the hospital in good condition. 1 hour later, police responded to the 100 block of North Lacrosse Avenue, where several people were shot. The 22-year-old woman was shot in the back. She died died at the hospital. The third shooting taking place just after 4:30 a.m. in the 5,000 block of West Maypole. Police say two 18-year-olds were arguing with two unknown offenders. The suspects approached them in a car and it turned physical. The two got out of the car and shot both 18-year-olds. One of the 18-year-olds died at the hospital, shot twice in the back. Police have not confirmed if any of these shootings were related or possibly a team takeover.
I heard somebody say 2,000, but it was 2,000 just on this block.
Ameriprise Financial has been providing personal financial advice since 18.
By the 1920s, the neighborhood was a thriving commuter community with developed street railways, growing industry, and a large European immigrant population, reaching about 140,000 residents. Institutions like Loretto Hospital helped solidify the area as a stable middle-class neighborhood. After World War II, however, the Great Migration brought a rising number of black residents to the West Side. By 1970, the community was 32% black, and a decade later 73%, marking a dramatic demographic shift. By the 1980s, the once bustling business corridors along Chicago Avenue, Madison Street, and Lake Street had deteriorated into abandoned storefronts and vacant lots, becoming hotspots for crime and drug activity. Grand homes and towering apartment buildings that once symbolized.
You see what it led to? The hatred of the government, no assistance from the government, no real backing from the government to where we can have funding for programs. Even though it's gonna be some bad apples here and there for the fact that there's been the historical hatred of black and whites within America. You're gonna have that, but at the same time, it's enough of us that if it's more funding, that the community be able to be patrolled a little bit better. Could we have more people, more eyes, more hands on deck, and more people to be able to combat the situation when things kind of pop up, and be able to kind of get it under control to where we can continue with the funding and be able to keep prospering instead of letting the mobbing in the streets overtake the community, and to where it's funding the community, to where the community respect the streets more than the government, and that's where you end up where only a few people get to eat at the top and everybody else got to suffer, even though that's what it's kind of looking like with the government. But if it's more people kind of doing the right things and on the right page, then it'll be more of good things going on, even if it's still mob dark wing stuff going on. It'll be so much light, be so much positivity to where it can kind of to where it wouldn't override the community. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't, the hearts within the community wouldn't be street. It'll be more, I wouldn't even want to say government, but more community.
Austin's prosperity fell into disrepair, now housing some of the city's poorest black residents. As economic decline deepened, gangs, especially factions of the vice lords, came to dominate the streets. Heroin trafficking surged along Chicago Avenue and Cicero Avenue, moving product not only throughout the neighborhood but into the surrounding wealthy suburbs. The scale of the operation earned the area a notorious nickname, the Heroin Superhighway, with several vice lord factions emerging as its biggest distributors.
For the love of money is a mother. So a lot of people are waiting for a lot of men.
Money is something Wayne Edwards seems to know something about. On the west side, they call him Jack Bobo, and they see evidence of his success diamond bracelets, diamond rings, Dom Perignon, and long limousines. Jack Bobo, according to his indictment last month, is one of the leaders of the Black Soul Street Gang. Black Souls and Jack Bobo, according to the indictment, sold $50,000 worth of heroin on Chicago streets every day.
50 a day. 50 racks a day for the Black Souls. See, and that's to show well we can work, we can do things, we can set up shop, we can organize. A lot of people can't eat, but it's street though, so it's really kind of like law. It's lawless. You know what I'm saying? It governs itself. There's really no overbody. It's really no true government. It's just wish-washy. And that's dangerous for the community. It's good, but it's dangerous. The good is the brotherhood, and you see the prosperity, and you see the good. You see him shining. You see him looking good. You see him fucking with his people, fucking with the people. He's rooted within that area. Close ties. You know what I'm saying? So it weighs more within the community eyes, within the man's eyes, and certain man's eyes, than being part of the American society and forcing the government to assist and really fighting to be more comfortable over here, because we had to do certain things within the streets to be able to do what we needed to do to be comfortable. They just ain't doing it just to be doing it. They trying to have something. They start off trying to have something in the beginning, then they blow up.
Case in point doesn't begin. Bobo, court called him money.
A lot of people are waiting for a lot of money.
Biggest distributors.
For the love of money is a mother. A lot of people are waiting for a lot of
money is something Wayne Edwards seems to know something about. On the west side, they call him Jack Bobo, and they see evidence of his success. Diamond bracelets, diamond rings, Dom Perignon, and long limousines. Jack Bobo, according to his indictment last month, is one of the leaders of the Black Soul Street Gang. Black Souls and Jack Bobo, according to the indictment, sold $50,000 worth of heroin on Chicago streets every day. A case in point is this man, Remy Baker, according to federal officials and Chicago police, is high on the ladder of international Nigerian drug runners. And Baker is accused of having a direct link to Jack Bobo and the Black Souls of Chicago. Baker and 3 other Nigerians are indicted for the delivery of heroin here. Jack Bobo and others are accused of operating an open-air market selling that China White heroin at Walnut and Holman on Chicago's west side.
Honesty has always been our policy, but the choir's new.
You have farmers. This is the fake ad you see everywhere, right? But this is Ebony.
Yeah, so you see it's going down. I'm going to show you where it's going down at over there. Hold on real quick.
The ads in real life.
Austin notable.
So we're going to bring this up. We're going to take a look. So you got Cicero right here, right? You got North Lawndale. They was talking about Garfield right here, right? So right within this area, this where you got this where you have Frederick Douglass. Let me blow it up. Where you got Frederick Douglass High School, right there. So So they're in the Austin neighborhood. Like they say, you got K-Town right over here. You got K-Town right over here, where Garfield is at. And you got the west side Austin right over here, right? West side of the city, right? So they say they was on, let me go back to that. Where was they at with it?
Walnut and Holman.
They was on Walnut and Holman getting it in, right? So let's see what Walnut and Holman is at. Let's see what Walnut at. So we got Walnut right here. Got Walnut right there. So let's see where Holman is at. So let's go to the right. Find Holman. Okay. Walnut right there. Okay. Holman. So right here. It was on Walnut and Holman right here, getting it in by the barbershop and the, yeah, Walnut and Holman. They getting it in right by the park. Garfield, K-Town. K-Town players, huh? You got K-Town right over there. And like I said, you just go straight down. Shit, you can just go straight down. You right over here by the school. So it's all west side. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the west side of Chicago.
On Chicago's west side.
Austin notable gangs and hoods. L Block / Toss Gang. The Four Corner Hustlers of the North Avenue corridor around Laramie and Lemoyne, a stronghold widely known as the home of Von Off 1700. TNG Ghost Mob, aka Troy and Gerald Ghost Mob, is a conservative Vice Lord set that was home to late rapper Pluto 2 times.
See what they say they at. Lemoyne and Lemoyne. See if we can find that on where they at. She sleep, alright. So they right here. Oh, they right by Frederick Douglass. So we got Lemerne. So we got Lemerne. Let's find Lemoyne. What is it? Lemoyne. That street there. Lemoyne. kind of too far to the north. Okay, they just put a humble. They right here. Okay, I missed it. Oh, they right there in Austin. Yeah. Where the school at? They're a little north here. Okay, they over here. Okay, they over here. They go Douglas over here. So they kind of in the same little. They kind of in the same little area with it though.
Stronghold, widely known as the home of Von-Off 1700, TNG Ghost Mob, aka Troy and Gerald Ghost Mob, is a conservative vice lord set that was home to late rapper Pluto 2 times. North Lawndale. The neighborhood is bounded by Arlington Street, Taylor Street, and 5th Avenue to the north. 21st Street, Cermak.
I'm go that far, but go back and look at this. So you got a lot of four corner hustlers within that area where Frederick Douglass High School is at. So you got a lot of four corner hustlers. A lot of vice lords within that area. Now, we're going to look at this real quick.
K-12 makes going back to school easy. We deliver an education that takes your child beyond the classroom.
There's a map of Chicago that nobody wants to talk about. It doesn't show train lines or bus routes. It shows war.
The gang violence.
This shit real, don't play. Then to be part of a rival gang and minimal access to after school.
That's what's going on the west side. And the argument is, why is funding going to illegal immigrants and not the black people that been within these areas to help them get the ball running, get up under their feet, instead of always leading towards the streets? And the outcome is this. instead of having programs funding, like they got funding for illegal immigrants.
Programs, gangs often fill the role of structure and belonging that schools and community centers can't always provide. You can even
see, and they try to say that like it can provide it, but it's no funding. All the funding is saying, okay, nah, we ain't got a grant for this. Nah, you can't have this. You can't have that. We ain't putting no money in this. We ain't putting no money in that. It being denied.
even see the effects of poverty in Englewood just off of the many lots that sit empty. All of these empty lots aren't random, they're the direct outcome of economic decay. As jobs vanished and home values tanked, many homeowners couldn't keep up with their mortgages. The city seized many of these properties through foreclosure and then demolished them rather than rebuilding them. This has left block after block of open grass where homes once stood.
Demolished them, didn't let the black community come up with some type of government funding to be able to rebuild the houses, have programs, have certain things set up in the community where it's already it's moving, it's a machine in motion, and everything, the money staying in the community, we steadily doing it. It was more shut it down. We don't fuck with niggas, really hatred, really prejudice, really racist shit going on towards black people. And it leads to more of the divide of black and white people.
Weeds, empty beer cans, and a lot of frustrated neighbors. The Morning Insiders uncover a pattern of vacant city-owned properties falling into disarray, leading to more than 100 complaints filed to the city just last year.
People see this, they're scared to buy here, they're scared to rent here. Clean it up and secure it.
But arguably the Chicago area struggling most with gang violence in 2025 is the Garfield Park area, or more notoriously known as K-Town. K-Town is a group of different neighborhoods with heavy gang violence.
Now, we got, right over here with my arrow is that we got Douglas High School. It's just right over here, just right down the street from you. Right down the street from the Douglas High School, where in 1960 had 1,000 kids, but in 2026 it's only 27 kids enrolled in the historically black high school, which is the lowest enrollment out of all big cities in America.
Roughly running from West Lake Street in the north to West 16th Street in the south, and then from California Ave in the east to Cicero Avenue in the west. While the Black Disciples, Gangster Disciples, and Black P Disciples have a heavy prominence in Chicago's south side, it's an entirely different set of gangs that make up Chicago's west side. The major gangs out of K-Town include the Black Souls, the Unknown Vice Lords, the Four Corner Hustlers.
So right here, where this blue is at, so look like those are the Vice Lords. So Vice Lords is in the area where Frederick Douglass High School, you got Four Corner Hustlers over there also in the Austin area, west side of Chicago. In the 1960s, they say was a historically black neighborhood, and the school was built for the black people within their neighborhood. And it's just crazy what's going on right now, where they talk about, well, they should shut it down. They got 46 classrooms, but only 27 students, and they got 28 staff members. They need to shut that down. How did that happen? It's the government, Democrats, city officials that then gave us the 42 fake on the Democrat push. But how is this happening at a historically black high school?
The traveling vice lords, the conservative vice lords, the new breed, and smaller pockets of the gangster disciples and black disciples. In general, the two dominant gangs in K-Town today are the vice lords, who originated in K-Town, and then the Four Corner Hustlers, who have a large area of control around Garfield Park. In 2022, the Four Corner Hustlers were caught in a massive drug trafficking operation that was run on the block of 3900 West Jackson Boulevard, the 3900 block of Van Buren Street, and the 4000 block of Maple Avenue, directly in the gang's territory. 10 members were arrested in this operation with nicknames like Peanut and D-Nice, but the operation was run by a 38-year-old man named Nathaniel Evans. 4 other.
So will Chicago West Side, could Chicago West Side bounce back? Not no hate on what they doing, because they gotta do what they gotta do because of so much of the historical prejudice and letdown of the country towards black people. You know, they gotta do what they gotta do. But is it beneficial for the neighborhood for this to be the number one kind of participation that black men be participating in within that age, 30s, 20s, participating in more street than more community, dealing with city officials, dealing with trying to get grants and programs, dealing with trying to get funding from the government, steady fighting, trying to get the funding. And I know that's tough, cause like that nigga gotta eat, nigga got kids, gotta do what you gotta do. And that's why I say that the government have been letting us down. And this is another clear example for reparations. It's an example of how the neighborhoods end up when niggas go to the streets and dominate the streets instead of dominating community.
Allegedly worked as shift managers that oversaw drug sales at the 3 other locations. The shift managers were also in charge of receiving the supply.
It's the same thing going on. So just like with the other video, you got old dude
around there.
You got the OG, the Black Souls, making $50,000 a day.
My mother love him when it's a mother. So a lot of people are waiting.
Money is something Wayne Edwards seems to know something about. On the west side, they call him Jack Bobo, and they see evidence of his success. Diamond bracelets.
Same thing going on within, well, I guess that was going on in K-Town. I guess they in K-Town also. They on the other side of the park. I guess on the east side of the park. This is in the 80s. He getting into it. Cause the streets took over. No acceptance within the government. The racist, the prejudice, the fucked up shit that was going on, excuse my language, within America, the black people forced the black man to hit the streets and, make their own politics, make their own world within this society, and having things and doing things. But then they say, oh, you ruining your life because you get into it, but now you touch a million, you touch this, you did this, but now you locked up. You had fun for 3-4 summers, now you gone for 20 summers. That old crazy shit. Not giving us the opportunity to say, okay, well, you did something with the bread, even though a couple people got killed, some people got addicted. We can still use you because you is a factor within the community. A lot of people look up to you. You can still be beneficial to uplifting the community, going in a different direction. You're still a leader in a sense, trying to work with the black people within the community, even though it's wrongdoings, but still try to flip it in a positive direction because it's momentum of black men. Niggas is down. They dedicated for what they doing, and they really do it. Uh, but if it was more community based instead of street, I think more black people and families will be able to benefit from it instead of just the people on the top. And you know what I'm saying, kind of how that go. But the same thing that was going on, he was doing the same thing. How they got caught up. Yeah, him and his partners, everybody shining, everybody looking good. The same thing happened to the other people not too long ago. What they was talking about in that little raid. So the streets is constantly. The streets ain't going nowhere. It's constantly right there until the government, city officials, and the people that's supposed to be talking for the black people and for their communities do better by the community. That's where it started.
All he doesn't pay for cart wranglers and no savings group.
Yeah, this is old school. This was in the 90s. I kind of wanted to get to right here because we can kind of look at we can kind of hear the political fight within the 95 and kind of see where the black people was thinking. And within this video also, let me kind of go back. Within this video also, it's a lot of blacks. It's a 95, it's a lot of blacks. Now, I don't think that it was so many people not from America over here like it is now. A lot of black people out on the streets, a lot of black people within these areas. Also Latinos also, but they got their own little sections, but got the old school, got the 90 hairdos. You see the little finger waves, ponytails, jackets, coats. They got the Chicago's on, man, 95. It's the west side, right? The west side of Chicago. Right over there in K-Town, right over there. This is K-Town. Right down the street from Douglas High School. This is right down the street from Douglas High School on the west side of Chicago. And for only 27 kids to be enrolled, it's more girls participation within sports than boys. There's only 6 boys on the basketball team, no football team, no baseball team. The volleyball team deep, the girls basketball team is deep. No participation with the young men, with the young black men. But we see that on Juneteenth, 40 black people was shot. 13 died just on Juneteenth. We know, within America, we call Chicago Chirac, home of the drill music. Home of the drill, where drill music is founded. Where the drill music is founded, right? Got the OGs out there selling their papers. He been out there, he done seen a lot of moons. He been out there, he done seen a lot. He is one of the ones that probably was denied jobs, denied the grants, denied the loans, denied those opportunities that the government should have provided to the OGs like that, where they could have brought back to the community to try to help, keep those businesses. You see all these businesses on these streets. These probably black-owned businesses at one time. Keep them going. But as you know, that it was a drug war. It was drugs that was put in the community and all type of stuff that affected us within the 80s and the 90s that voided us from being more participation with community and being more street. They street with it. Getting the bread early. Now, I thought it was interesting when this woman was talking.
He doesn't know about how exciting and crazy and unique Chicago politics is. Tell me what Chicago politics is.
Wild and crazy.
Start by saying Chicago politics is.
Okay, Chicago politics is very unique. It's one of a kind. Actually, I'm not from Chicago. I moved here from Springfield, Illinois in 1987, where I was involved in politics. But now I've been involved here about 5 years, and it's very interesting, very different, one of a kind.
You said it's wild and crazy?
Yes, very wild, very crazy.
Start by saying Chicago politics is wild and crazy.
Chicago's politics is very wild and very crazy.
Why?
Well, it has its own unique structure because of the ethnic. No, not that. I don't know really. It's very unique. It's ran by a very political machine. So very old politics here, very new people, but it's very different.
Old politics, but new people. Let me bring that back.
It's very unique. It's ran by a very political machine.
So it's political. They got the money. They got the money to fund it. You see, they did. They fight ICE. All the judges, everybody in on it. Niggas going to the facilities, tripping, not cooperating with government, saying that we are a sanctuary city. We are pushing for illegal immigrants. True zone come through, sitting on chrome. What it do? We got all this going on. And no benefits. The benefits is the reparations is there. They are political. They are political. They are political. It is a political machine. They got the money. But they not dealing with us. It's more to build up the illegal immigrants. So is it dangerous for FBAs to be in Chicago?
So very old politics here, very new people, but it's very different.
How long have you been in Chicago for?
I moved here in 1987.
1987? So Mayor Washington was still the mayor then?
Right, I think he died that year. He died that November.
People in the community, what did Mayor Washington mean? Because he was a special historian.
Actually, he was another, I'd say Martin Luther King. You could compare him to King. I think he was, you see, not only African American, Hispanic, Asian, white. I mean, he was great for all people.
What does his loss mean? I mean, all of a sudden, here he is, the mayor, he's got this power, and then 1 second he's gone.
Well, the loss was very devastating. It really crippled the African American community, I would say, because they lost hope. And I think with Reverend Jesse Jackson moving back, now taking over Operation Push, he's going to be another force to help bring the African American community.
What about the community's feelings about Mayor Daley?
Well, actually, it's mixed. Honestly, I don't think he's doing a bad job. No, I wouldn't say he's doing a bad job at all. I mean, you have to look what he has to work with.
Do you know anything about his dad?
Who, Daley's dad?
Yeah.
No. I wasn't here at the time, so I just heard a little bit about it in Springfield.
I got a question for you personally. I mean, we're talking to people all over the United States about politics. Hey, it's a cold day. You know, there's not going to be a high turnout. And you're out there, you're putting this stuff up there.
Actually, I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican.
But why do you get involved in politics?
A black Republican in Chicago in 1995, a black woman. a black woman Republican in Chicago in 1995 in the Democratic city, even though she's from Springfield. And I've been to Springfield. I had a track meet up there one time.
Why do you come out and do this?
I think the college. I forgot what college is up there, but they got a college up there. I had a track meet up there. In Springfield, Illinois, and that's interesting for her to say that. And I like that leather jacket.
Because I like politics and it really makes a difference. I mean, a lot of people sit back and they don't vote at all because I'm like, well, my one vote doesn't make a difference. Well, I think I went to Operation Push this morning and I heard Reverend Jesse Jackson speak. And he was talking about how was it 30 years ago today that they were marching down in Selma for the right for African Americans to vote. So I think it's very important that we do get out there and exercise our right to vote. Because it does.
So she was at the meeting. Jesse Jackson talked to the man that was down there 30 years ago, witnessed it, went through it. That's what I'm saying. We've been going through it. It's 30 years just to be able to vote, even though we've been living over here for hundreds of years. But in 1960, we was just able to vote. We was able to kind of get a little bit more equal rights.
Do you think people understand how hard politics is tried and it's lost as they think it's not good?
Well, I think the reason they don't think it's good because you've had a lot of bad politicians in Chicago. And then once you have a few bad ones, it makes it bad for people on the whole. But there is still hope there and there's still a chance of it's really not a bad city.
That's good. Thank you for
Yeah, don't put me on camera.
At least we'll tell you what it is.
Okay, I'm Patricia Davis. I live at 6742 South Chappelle in Chicago. The zip is 60649. Republican ballot. There's not too many judges in the city of Chicago that you can vote for. So, and Chicago is pretty much a Democratic city. But as a Republican, no one votes straight ticket anymore, very seldom. In 1992, I worked for Jack O'Malley. I did a real good job getting out there, getting he won by the Democrats voting for him. So I think they look at whether, they don't vote straight party, it's who's ever the best candidate, whether they're Republican or Democrat. But I am a Republican, but there are a lot of good Democrats here that I do work with and support.
Is this city still important in politics?
It's very important. So if you notice, it's very, very important.
So tell me what's important. I'm not going to hear my question.
All they can't, all they hear is what I say?
Yeah.
I cut it off for a minute. I just want to tell you on camera. West Side politics in Chicago is very different from any other side in the city. It's very different. How? I would say because people over here are, how would I put it? I won't say they don't move on emotions, and they have their own mind. And if you work with them and talk with them, you get a lot done with them. It's very different. It's very easy to work with them here too.
Do people always vote for the best man, or sometimes they vote for other reasons?
If you have the right person out there for you, and you see that they're the best man, they will vote for you. You can beat the machine over here on the West Side.
Is that the way it always happens?
No, that's not the way it always happens in the city.
So what is it? How does it usually go?
It usually goes by the old Democratic political machine and its forces. But if you notice, Jesse Jackson Jr. beat that old Democratic machine because they were pushing for Senator Emil Jones. Then you had this young African-American guy out here running, and they worked hard, and he beat him. And I think you're going to see that a lot in the next few years.
So what about ethnicity in politics? Is it important in Chicago? So start with saying ethnicity, or ethnic politics.
Ethnic politics is very relevant in Chicago, very prevalent. And, I mean, but there are some white people who will cross over and vote for blacks, as well as there are some blacks who will cross over and vote for white if they're the best candidate. Because with Jack O'Malley, there were a lot of black people supporting him, or he wouldn't be where he's at now. A lot of blacks, and there's another race you have to look for is the Hispanic race, because they're coming to the rise, and just like they just showed that when they were down there with Roy Call. I mean, within an hour, they had over 1,000 people down there marching on Michigan Avenue in front of the Tribune Tower. So,
who are the Hispanics going for these days?
Michigan Avenue in front of the Tribune Tower. So,
Who are the Hispanics going for these days in city politics?
actually, they can go either way, as well as blacks. Blacks will vote some Republicans if they're a good person, and as well as they will vote for the Democrats. It's really, I think nowadays it's going to whoever the qualified candidate is. Thank you.
That's great.
So the Hispanics wasn't deep back then. They was on the come up. This is 95. See, that's what I'm saying. 95. Now in 2026. No more money in the city for the black community, but immigrants is getting free food stamps. They getting free housing. They getting free Medicare. They getting free schooling if they have a kid in America. That's the loophole. Come over here and get pregnant. Have a kid to where your kid is an American. Now your kid automatically qualify for all the benefits. And because you're the parent, even though you're not fully documented, even though you're not an American, you got to take care of this American child. And that's the loophole. And that's how they get all the unlimited food stamps, just all the benefits. But then they'll play the game of living within like their cultural way within America to where, shit, they got 2 or 3 families living in one house. You got hella people living in one house. So they able to pay the high rent. They got hella people in there working. They able to pay the high rent. That's how they end up maxing black people up out of housing, because they able to pay high rent and they able to take lower wage of jobs because they not documented. So they gonna take anything. So that's where the money thing ain't working. They getting the jobs, they getting the benefits. It's no more money for the black community, and now we steadily gotta go to the streets. The streets is what's saving us, but it's hurting us. The streets save us, but it hurt us because it can take us away from our family, but it can also put our family in a good position to have things and do things. So it's a double-edged sword, and I hate that we gotta walk on that double-edged sword within America constantly. We gotta constantly walk on that double-edged sword while everybody else get the benefit of the doubt. And hopefully that can change going forward. Now I just want to show you this little ending part right here. So they're gonna show the Mexicans was in the building. I'm not saying the Mexicans wasn't there, but they wasn't as deep. You can see them because they're not even gonna be out on the streets deep like how the black people was deep out on the streets. They got the dental, got the foot, got the bakery, got the whole block sold up. But they not deep out there. You see how the black people was deep. Black people was walking through. Black people walking through on their side. They there, but they not deep. We was deep. South Side, South Ashland. Trying to get out their tacos and sopillas. Sodas. Yeah, got the payphone right there, man. Now we first to get into this right here because I think this is the reason why the black community, I think this is the great example and reasoning of the downfall of the black community in Chicago.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? We are here. We're live. Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And please do not forget, as I always beg you to, don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. Okay, and with the introduction out the way, let's get into today's news. Let's get the stream started. And today, for the first time in a while, we are headed back on over to the People's Republic of Chicago. Why? Because we have to discuss not just Emperor Brandon Johnson, but black liberals in Chicago, right? Particularly the teachers, black liberal teachers in Chicago. I have one question for you, or I should say a couple of questions. Are you done yet? Are you done voting blue no matter who? Are you done yet? That's what I want to know. Are you done voting on the basis of skin color alone? Are you done yet? This idea that just because somebody's black, they're on your side, that is a lie. And just because somebody's white, they're against you, that is a lie. Are you done yet? Huh? I know the answer to that question. Those are rhetorical questions. No, they're not done. They're not done. And at the end of the day, you're going to keep getting what you voted for, which is layoffs and replacement. Let's get into it, everybody. Let's dive into this story here. I want to start here first, okay? Let's start here first. You know I can never just get straight to it, but it's all relevant. It's all relevant. So follow me. It's all relevant, right? Look at this here, all right? From Austin Berg. Let me read this to you. Once again, it's all relevant concerning, schooling and everything of that nature in Chicago. Check this out here. This is an unbelievable story. New. Chicago's Frederick Douglass Academy High School has 47 classrooms built to serve 1,008 kids, but only 27 students are enrolled there. What is going on in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen? And the nerve to call that high school Frederick Douglass Academy. They need to change that high school name to Brandon Johnson Academy. That's what they should change it to. But I digress. Let's carry on. And the school employs 28 full-time staff. At 3% utilization, it is the emptiest big city school in the country, according to Chicago Policy Center research. A few more facts about Douglass that we are now renaming the Johnson Academy. 100% of seniors are categorized as chronically absent, meaning they missed 10% or more of school days. 11th graders, all right, their 11th grade class could read or do math, or excuse me, I can't read either. No 11th grader could read or do math at grade level in school year 2023-2024. The school costs, get this, $93,000 per student in school year 2023-2024. All right. I got some more facts for you. We're not done yet because I want to go to the actual article that was written by Mr. Austin Berg because of how ludicrous this is. Oh, wait a minute. They hit me with the paywall? Come on, Austin Berg. Don't do me like that. Let me refresh the page. The article is just up and then it flipped on me. Okay. We have it here for the moment. Let me read through this quickly. As it states here, Chicago is home of the emptiest big city school in the nation, right? And I love how he started this off. Frederick Douglass learned to read in secret. For many of you who don't know, Frederick Douglass taught himself how to read, who was a slave. He understood from a young age that literacy was, in his words, the pathway from slavery to freedom. But at Frederick Douglass Academy High School in Chicago, now renamed Brandon Johnson Academy High School in Chicago, the school is so under-enrolled that Illinois cannot publicly report how many of its students read proficiently. There simply aren't enough tested students to publish the results without risking their anonymity. That is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. And please do not forget, if you think the way to solve this is just throwing more money, more taxpayer dollars, they are already spending $93,000 per student. All right. There's more than enough money going into this failed school. And when you look at Brandon Johnson and the CTU solution to this, here is their solution: addressing empty schools. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and the Chicago Teachers Union have argued the solution to the Douglas's problem is the sustainable community school model. Now, what is that? Well, we're going to get into it here. I shouldn't say that. We're not going to get into what it actually is. We're going to get into how much of a failure it is. But the results are in. At 8 CPS high schools that have used this model since 2018, proficiency and enrollment have continued to decline while spending and absenteeism are up. This school, ladies and gentlemen, is a money pit. Any and everything that's done, especially by these socialists, which Brandon Johnson is, everything turns into a money pit. And now teachers are being laid off and they're crying about it now. But what's even more diabolical is teachers are being laid off while being replaced by bilingual teachers. Let's get into that next. Look at this here. CPS proposes hundreds of layoffs affecting teachers, aides, furloughs to close a $732 million budget deficit. That is crazy. Look at this. Chicago Public Schools plan to lay off hundreds of employees and impose furlough days as part of the budget proposal aimed at closing a $732 million budget deficit, district leaders announced Wednesday. The proposed budget includes layoffs of about 760 teachers and 801 teachers' aides. So you're talking about, what is that, roughly around 1,500? In between teachers and teachers' aides, 1,500 folks being wiped out, laid off, as well as 5 furlough days on non-attendance days for students. The district also plans to implement a spending freeze and seek additional tax increment financing, or TIF funding, to help balance the budget, right? But here's where it gets wicked. Here's where Brandon Johnson has proved himself to be diabolical, ladies and gentlemen. I heard through the grapevine that while these layoffs were happening, they're also hiring bilingual teachers. So I did a little quick Google AI search, and surprise, surprise, that's true. Look at this here.
There are trucks, and then there's...
Now, can you believe that? They firing the black teachers and hiring bilingual teachers.
Public schools is
they firing black teachers and hiring bilingual teachers on the west side of Chicago, and what they gonna end up doing is shutting down Frederick Douglass High School, and then gonna end up renaming that to some type of Spanish person, and they gonna have big fund, and they gonna be over there deep doing it big. Like, come on, man. All illegals.
Here. Chicago Public Schools is boosting its hiring and funding for bilingual and special education teachers while simultaneously laying off hundreds of general education teachers and support staff, meaning those who don't speak English, right? But now, better than reading it to you, I'd rather show you the video clips of these liberal teachers literally crying and upset at the fact that this is happening to them, as if this is not what they voted for. As if you didn't have a choice between Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis, and you chose Brandon Johnson just because he was black. And now here you are. All right. Let me play this first clip for you here. This is a news clip that I want to play for you all. I believe it's from ABC. And I'm going to fast forward it just a bit so we can get straight to the clip that I want you to see. Right. So we don't have to belabor the point too much. Check this out here.
Enrollment at the school is school.
Okay, rewind back just a little bit. Take two and action.
The school doesn't need, 3 fourth grade classrooms. They only need 2.
CPS says many of the laid-off teachers will likely be rehired, something CTU disputes.
Unfortunately, when our teachers are laid off, a lot of them leave our district because people need job security. And not having that job security and instability causes them to leave the profession.
The budget also calls for a mid-year spending freeze, no funding for assistant principals at schools with enrollment under 250 students, and 162 layoffs at the district central office, which were made public earlier this week. But the budget is not all about cuts. CPS plans to increase funding for bilingual and special education educators.
The budget that we have presented is one that does its absolute best to address the very diverse needs of our students. And so we center this budget around the students and the needs that they have in this given moment.
Before we get to the woman that was actually crying, I want to come back to this woman here, right? It's talking about how things aren't fair and yada, yada, yada. Brandon Johnson is diabolical. This man's diabolical. He knew and understands black voters and that you vote on the basis of skin color. All right? This man came in pretending to be pro-black. And then when he got into office, Brandon Johnson, that is, he allocated hundreds of millions of dollars, billions if we're including city and state. But city alone, he allocated hundreds of millions of dollars out of your budget, your tax dollars, to settle tens of thousands of illegal immigrants who poured in via Biden's open border policy into your communities. And after he put them in the black communities, now there's no more money in the budget to pay the teachers, to which there is a $732 million budget deficit. So now they're laying you off and hiring bilingual teachers to teach the children that they put in your community and put all the money and resources into. But you just keep voting no matter who. You keep doing that. Diabolical. You just keep voting on the basis of skin color. You just keep lying to yourself and saying to yourself, well, just because you're black, you're on my side, and just because you're white, you're against me. You keep doing that. You keep playing that game. Have you learned your lesson yet? No, you have not. No, you have not. Nobody's illegal on stolen land. They snatched up all your, they snatched up your neighborhoods, they snatched up your schools, they took everything from you, and it was all led by Brandon Johnson, the man that you voted for solely because he was black. You had an opportunity to vote for Paul Vallis, but if I let you tell it, Paul Vallis is racist, but not Brandon Johnson. Oh man, I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun.
Now that's crazy that for him to call it out like that, it seemed like that he talking down, he talking shit about black people, but he just calling out the truth. He calling out the truth to where there's a lot of black people within positions of power. They allow a school like Frederick Douglass to go from 1,000 students in 1960 to only 27 in 2026, where they firing black teachers and hiring bilingual teachers. Black people is having a harder time of affording to live in Chicago when illegal immigrants is getting the benefit of the doubt. Everything is going against the FBAs within Chicago, and the sanctuary city is a sanctuary city like Chicago dangerous for black people, particularly FBAs, from professionals to your kids, from the professional work to your kids. Is it dangerous? No type of come up, no type of hope of future, instead of just struggles. Not saying that everybody gonna be struggling, nothing like that, but it shouldn't be. We're going in the wrong direction within a lot of black communities. And then we're taking a look at the west side of Chicago, which, once again, historically, Frederick Douglass, one of the black pioneers, black men within America, a school that was built in the 1960s for the black community, for it to be going through what it's going through now within the city, a democratic city, where in 2026 they say that majority of black people vote Democrat. You got a black mayor, we got a black police chief, we got a black this, we got a black that. But it's a more stronger fight against government, towards government, fighting towards the government, fighting against the president, against laws and stuff like that to benefit immigrants. Other than not fighting that hard for the historical black people that been living in Chicago for a long time, that been voting, that been participating with that, okay, we got somebody black in there, I'm voting for them off the rip because they black, and then to turn around and not do nothing for a nigga. Niggas like this ain't wrong for laughing and calling out and saying, is niggas done with doing this shit? Is niggas done with saying every black person there is for sure gonna help me? Every black person for sure gonna help me, and every white person is for sure trying to get over them. And that ain't true. That ain't true within America. So we gotta flip the script and do something different, or it's gonna get tougher and tougher. Not saying that it ain't gonna be tough days or nothing like that for black people, but we gonna miss the train on a majority of black people being is on like a come up kind of striving communities. Not saying that we don't have striving communities, but a lot of our old communities, is high rate in crime and high rate in a lot of street shit. But just like I say, that's what we gonna build up on when the government ain't fucking with us. So yeah, we gonna have high rates of street shit going on instead of community. It's a battle between street and community. It's a thin line though.
Let's move on. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Let's get into this teacher here, because the wailing and gnashing of teeth is great. Carlton Way, vote blue no matter who. Look at this here. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're watching the replay of this video, make sure you hype this video. Thank you very much. Let me adjust the screen here and let's pull up the teacher that started crying. I don't know what you're crying for. This is what you voted for.
Corpay started with one purpose: to help businesses control spending. Employees spend, paying vendors, international payments. Corpay, for every way your business moves.
My name is Iris Moore. I'm from Austin College Career Academy. I went from Masika. I did my student teaching, and now I'm a second-year teacher up until I got a letter, an email stating that I no longer had my position. Every year, I'm nervous about losing my position, and I think it's very unfair.
That's crazy for a black teacher. A black teacher in America. The black teacher was one of the foundation positions in the black community for hundreds of years. That's almost a go-to position. That should be a go-to. A teacher should be one of our go-tos. So, okay, we can always be a teacher. That's been something that we've been doing in America for hundreds of years. And for teachers to be on thin ice, and for if you're not bilingual, you're not really qualified. What is going on within the sanctuary cities? Is it dangerous for FBAs?
Considering that I had started a cheerleader team, and this was hard. I was broke down in front of my cheerleaders just to tell them that I was no longer employed. When you build a community.
Come on now. But they making sure that all these immigrants, I was just looking at the Asian immigrants in New York, these niggas got adult daycare. Getting millions funded. And we ain't got nothing funded for the black teachers? A foundational position for black people? A position of work? That should be like a golden thing. That should be like stamped, solidified. Like, come on. It's ridiculous.
With your students. And you have to disappoint them and see their faces. When you tell them that you no longer return it. They lose their trust within you. I won't let them down because CPS has let me down. CPS always had these programs about residential teachers coming in. How you want to build a teacher up to just snatch their position because you lost money? And that's not fair.
No, it's very fair because you voted for this. You are of the mindset that no one is illegal on stolen land. So it was cool for everybody to just pile on into the city and completely displace you and spend all the money on those who they displaced you with. And now that there's no more money to pay you, they're getting rid of you, but continuing to invest in the...
That's the funding that I'm talking about. That's the bread that's going to run out. And that's why I say the reparations for FBAs, that's why I particularly point out FBAs, because everybody's going to be lining up to get some of that bread. And the FBA should be first in line. Whatever that's left over for the stragglers, that's what it is. But the FBAs is first in line. I don't understand how that's a hard fight within our politics, with our black politicians within government. I don't know what they in there talking about. I don't know what the mayors and the people that's the city managers, I don't know what they in there talking about. You done already came from the bottom, so I guess since they got their positions, they want that job forever. As long as they getting their paycheck, they just worried about it's a job. These positions got to have a different type of argument, a different type of lifestyle, a different type of animal. Not just I need a job, I gotta feed my family, I gotta do what I gotta do. No, it gotta be to build up the community, nothing less. That's it. Fuck your family right now. When the community is fucked up, that's the only thing that's gonna change the community.
People that they replaced you with. This is what you voted for. I'm not trying to hear none of what you're talking about right now, lady. Knock it off. You should have voted for Paul Dallas, but because he was white, you didn't vote for Paul Dallas because I guess, once again, I guess he's some sort of racist, apparently. He's not, but I'll let you tell it, yeah, he is.
This is my livelihood. I feel the educator is the most important job. We are the reason you're the state representative, the senator, a part of Congress. It's because of an educator that inspired you in some shape, form, or fashion. Start allocating the money the proper way, proper resources for people.
Too late for all that. It is too late for all that. And now you're crying. Now you're crying. But you know who's laughing right now? Emperor Brandon Johnson. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. Emperor Brandon Johnson is laughing right now all the way to the bank. I'll explain in just a moment, but let me play this for you here. Recently, it was released. You don't see it in front of you right now, but I have it in front of me. It was, let me read this here. It's another tweet from Austin Berg. Shout out to Austin Berg. You know, hopefully he follows me back on Twitter. Austin Berg put, watch. This is the video I'm going to play. Mayor Brandon Johnson is asked about a University of Chicago poll showing just 13.6% of Chicagoans would like to see him run for re-election. The overwhelming of Chicagoans do not want this man to run for re-election. But how do you think Brandon Johnson responded to this? Let's watch and see. Let's watch and see.
His money in the bank. He got millions. He done got promotions. He done did the lobbying. His bank account is good. He good. Come on, they don't give a fuck about the people, nigga. Let's get real.
To help you earn your Bachelor of Science.
Do you have any concerns going forward that as you continue to bash the council that has opposed some of your efforts, that it could turn out to be very counterproductive, especially given the fact that the recent University of Chicago poll showed that most people don't want to see you run again and just improve your job rating? You know, that might suggest that you're the one who doesn't have the plot in the city, and perhaps they do.
All right. Go ahead, Alice.
He just dismissed it. He just laughed and dismissed it. I interrupted a little bit early, but he just laughed.
He just got the wrong people in the right positions. This is a clear example of the wrong people in the right positions, man. Stand right there and let the people know what's going on, man. Even though you finna go out the door, man, let them know what that is. These niggas is eating good. When the nigga leave, when he get done doing this, he gonna be going on vacation, chilling. He got investments. Now it's about the investments. It ain't about the community. It's about what I'm finna do with these investments.
Hey, go ahead, Alice. Go ahead, Alice. He's like, you gotta answer my question? Like, what's up?
To what? Give me your definition of bashing.
Everything you said in the last 15 minutes about the council.
The council not standing up for working people is bashing to you? Come on, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, why is he laughing so hard? Right? at the fact that the overwhelming majority of Chicagoans do not want him to run for re-election, that only 13% want him to run for re-election. Why did he laugh like that? Why? Because like I said earlier, he's laughing all the way to the bank. Whether he runs for re-election or not, he's already a millionaire. Whether he runs and loses, he's already a millionaire. He already made money off of finessing liberals. This is a guy, from what Chicagoans have told me since 2023. You guys told me that prior to becoming the mayor of Chicago, this man was on a payment plan to pay his electric bill. But by the time he's done being the mayor of Chicago, he will retire with a pension worth $3 to $5 million. I kid you not, I covered this way back in 2023. That's why you should have been subscribing. If you're not subscribed, subscribe now. But we can rehash it very quickly. Look at this here. Check this out. Look at this. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's eventual pension could exceed $5 million. You think this man cares if he's elected or not? He's laughing all in your face. Look at this here. I'm just going to read these two paragraphs and then we're going to shut this stream down. Look at this here. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's pensions are worth an estimated $3.8 million after only 4 years as a teacher and 1 term as a mayor. That is highway robbery. It could even go higher, depending on his next job move. I think I read that all wrong. I'm from Chicago, by the way, so that explains a lot. Well, I may have read that wrong, but you get the point. Anyways, let's continue on. Let's keep going. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is currently set to receive a pension worth an estimated $3.8 million through the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund and the Municipal Employee Annuity and Benefit Fund. He qualifies for these benefits thanks to multiple loopholes in the state's pension code. His pension payout could ultimately be worth far more, maybe $5.53 million. By further leveraging these loopholes after 4 years in a classroom and his first term as mayor. This man was a failed, I believe he was a social studies teacher for 4 years, who was on a payment plan to pay his electric bill, became mayor for 4 years, and by way of a multitude of loopholes, is going to walk away with anywhere between $3.8 and $5.5 million in pension. This man finessed you liberals something crazy. And now while you're crying about being laid off, this man is quite literally laughing in your face and laughing all the way to the bank. And he does this quite frequently, actually. I'm going to do you guys a favor. I'm going to look for this video that I played before once. It's of Brandon Johnson laughing once again in the face of the sacred black woman. You know, for Democrats, black women, the black woman is God. For Democrats, right? And he laughed in her face when she was talking about how she can't pay her bills, you're spending all this money and this, that, and the third. And he literally laughed in her face. I wish I thought of this sooner, but I thought of it now. And hopefully I don't fumble the whole stream. So I'm going to look for this very quickly. Give me just a second. I'm going to look for this very quickly. If I cannot find it, I'm just going to shut this down. Please let me find this. Oh, man. Give me a second, guys. Sorry.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, $118 for car insurance. That's how much I was paying. Okay? I picked up the...
Sir, Mr. Mayor, you think you can help us with some housing real quick? Yeah, I want you to help us with what you...
Did you hear how he laughed in her face? She said, can you help us out with some housing real quick? He said, real quick. And all him and all his yes men said, you voted for this. Why are you complaining about housing now? We're giving all the money to the immigrants. We're settling them. We don't have no money for you. But thanks for the vote. Let's listen to that one more time. Diabolical. We don't have to watch the whole clip. Just one more time. Let's hear this out. Let me make sure to mute up so you can hear clearly.
I don't know if you got any housing in the back. Sir, Mr. Mayor, you think you can help us with some housing real quick? Real quick. Yeah, I want you to help us the way you, because I campaigned for you and I need housing. My gas bill over $2,000. Can you help me? Okay. That's why we gonna pray. That's why we gonna.
Gas bill $2,000. Then they have the conversation with the woman to just try to see where did that bill come from. Hey, I'm supposed to lock in with my peoples down at this area, locking in, chop it up with the peoples about trying to get them right, about having them locking in with certain people, but they can make that right. Like niggas ain't making it right. Like, come on, man. She reaching out, man. I voted for you. I did this. I campaigned for you. I told them to holler at you. I told them to come through and come spin with you. I'm telling you that, hey, can you help me out with something? You on? I just walked away. It's wicked. So that's even an example of the people that be in the right positions, the wrong people in the wrong people in the right positions can still mess up the game. You know what I'm saying? Just like the dope game, to where they just eating at the top and they ain't worried about community. It's about them. At the end of the day, they not chopping it up with nobody from the community like that. Not really trying to dig in and be a giant in the game. Instead of now you got to tiptoe around the folks.
That's the reason to go red. Chicago go red.
Said I campaigned for you. I campaigned for you. And now I can't afford to live in the city that I'm from. Can you help me out with some housing? You helped out all the illegal immigrants. What about me? He laughed in her face. Oh, man. Look, with all that being said, that's going to do it for today's stream. All right. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Please do that for me. Subscribe to.
And that's why we got this situation right here. This is the reason why we have this situation right here.
Public schools trying to balance its budget through furloughs, layoffs, and spending freezes. We've been telling you all about this the last couple of weeks, but some say they're missing the opportunity to close underutilized schools.
Now, this is always a hot budget issue. That includes Frederick Douglass High School. Now the emptiest big school, not just here in the city of Chicago. We're talking about in the entire nation. It was built to
emptiest big city school in the whole nation. Frederick Douglass. Can you believe Frederick Douglass' name is on that? And they saying that they helping black people in a democratic city where black people vote 90% Democrat. But one of they foundational schools on the west side went from 1,000 students in 1960 to 27 in 2026. And you got the people walking up to the black mayor saying, I voted for you, my rent high now, can you? And ain't nobody chopping it up. They firing black teachers and hiring bilingual teachers. Is sanctuary cities dangerous for FBAs?
serve 1,000 kids. Today, only 27 students in the entire nation. It was built to serve 1,000 kids. Today, only 27 students are enrolled.
And keep in mind, built to serve 1,000 black kids. Built to serve 1,000 black kids.
school, not just here in the city of Chicago. We're talking about in the entire nation. It was built to serve 1,000 kids. Today, only 27 students are enrolled. 27. Joining us now is Austin Berg, Executive Director of the Chicago Policy Center. I know you did a lot of work on this. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here. You say in your article that Douglas illustrates the consequences of poor facilities planning, fewer opportunities for students, and higher costs for taxpayers. We were just talking about this. Why hasn't this school been closed? 28 full-time staff members, 27 students. The math isn't math in here.
Math is not mathing. More full-time employees than students, almost double the number of classrooms as students at Frederick Douglass Academy. These statistics of the common person in Chicago are just shocking. And the reason is that Chicago Public Schools has no framework right now that is public for what happens, what are the minimum standards for enrollment and performance at a school. And by the way, what are the high bar standards that would trigger replication of a school? We lack a framework for both. In the absence of that framework, all we have in Chicago is a moratorium on school consolidation. So we don't have a real plan. We simply have a big sign that says no, and that is not serving kids well.
Okay, let's put that graphic back up. Please. Cost per student, and I assume this is through all of Chicago public schools, is $93 or was it 98? $93,000.
At Douglass High School, we are spending $93,000.
That is more than the average.
That don't even make sense. $93,000. They not even going there for the whole year, so this is only 9 months. So 9 months, every month is $10,000 a student, and they parents ain't even touching that. Probably not even half of that. It's a lot of mismanaging the money. It's a lot of pocketing the money. There's a lot of people making sure their careers and their families is okay. Now niggas gonna have to mob within the government, but I guess mobbing out the squares and getting the trail motherfuckers up in there. Because this is because the squares is the ones that's putting the niggas in a position. They fried. They fried in the community. The squares. These is really squares doing this. These ain't even the G motherfuckers.
Person in the city of Chicago makes the head of household. I mean, that is incredible. How is that even possible?
It happens when you have a massive building. Like imagine what it would cost per person in your household if you had a household built for 100 times as many people as are in your family, right? Those costs add up really quickly. And I should mention too, those statistics are just sort of are so shocking because we often hear about how Chicago Public Schools is cash strapped. And then you look at a school like this where it's so clear these resources are being used poorly.
Man, what was that kid doing on that paper, man? What is that? Is that division? What kind of math problems is this? Is he even putting the answer out there? He just drawing down questions. Man, that's crazy.
And then you look at a school like this where it's so clear these resources are being used poorly. But it's not just a poor outcome for the district. Or for
$93,000 per year. They just got little tablets. They ain't got no computers. They just got little tablets. They ain't got no projects in there. They ain't got no STEM. They ain't working on robots. They supposed to be working on robots. They supposed to be working on tech. They supposed to be doing something in tech, robot. They supposed to be doing that.
taxpayers, it's really driving poor outcomes for students there. So 100% of seniors at Frederick Douglass are chronically absent, meaning they miss more than 10 days of school.
100% of the seniors are absent. Now, is that parenting? Is that society? How did that happen? In a predominantly black neighborhood.
Per year. No 11th grader could read or do math at grade level. And
No, not one of these, not even, it wasn't even one smart 11th grader. It had to be one smarter. It had to be somebody that's smart, that's overachieving than everybody else. That's an overachiever. That's probably the number one in the nation. Ain't even got one. The streets then took over the west side of Chicago with the black community. It's no hope that we looking for from city officials. It can't be. They're not fighting. They not fighting for the black people. But they fighting for the nigga to lock a nigga up, though. They locking, they sure is fighting for goddamn funding for the goddamn prisons. This shit is crazy.
And that's what we would expect from a school that can't really offer the extracurriculars that are so enriching, class, a breadth of different classes, just because there are so few students there.
Oh, I got so many questions, Austin. I really do. This one, I think, will fire up most people. Get you fired up because then you hear from the Chicago Public Schools, specifically CTU, calling for more money from the state. And so you see a situation like this, and you're like, what are you spending the money on?
The more money gotta be on some grown-ups to go get the kids from the streets. To go get the kids from the streets, to transport them, pay them to bring the kids in from the streets. They running away from the kids from the streets. They scared of to put money towards some adults that's going to go get the kids and bring them into the schools.
Have you gotten a response from CPS, CTU on why this facility has remained open? And how long has this been going on?
This has been going on for years. I mean, more than a decade, we've seen considerable decline in the number of students enrolled at the school as families have voted with their feet. But you make such a critical point there. The school district is in a position where it is increasingly needing to go to the state for additional resources. Imagine you are a state lawmaker and you're sitting in your office and a lobbyist comes to you saying, hey, we need more money for Chicago public schools. How can you feel good about that decision when you have a school that's spending $93,000 per student per year and is only 3% utilized?
Now they got one of the black schools within Chicago, a historical black school within Chicago, saying, well, shit, we don't know if we should be giving them no money. How did the mismanagement get that far off? And within the schools? How did the mismanagement get that? How did the vision get that far off? To where you fist to lose Frederick Douglass High School. We got a Frederick Douglass on the east side of Oklahoma City. A Booker T. Washington is up in Tulsa. These is black schools. Is this an example of people, so many people done moved outside the neighborhood to where they moved in different neighborhoods and now their kids is more in the suburban areas and not in their area? And now the only ones that's in their area is immigrants? What's going on? And the immigrants ain't there because they scared that they is going to get deported, so ain't nobody going to school? What's going on over here? on the west side of Chicago at Frederick Douglass High School.
Big city school in the country. So it hurts the district's ability to advocate for itself at the state level. I will say that Mayor Brandon Johnson and the Chicago Teachers Union, when faced with questions about under-enrolled schools like this, they point to a model that they use called the Sustainable Community Schools model, which is more about providing additional staff and additional wraparound services at schools. The problem with that model is that in the 8 schools, the 8 high schools that have used Sustainable Community Schools, that model since 2018, we see proficiency is down, enrollment is down, absenteeism is up, and spending is up.
Because they hiring the wrong people. They not going to the neighborhood and hiring the people they supposed to be hiring from the neighborhood, but they say, "Oh, you don't qualify. Oh, you got priors. You got that's the people that you need to change." Yeah, it's a position for the people that done did right. That's you know what I'm saying. That they went to school and did it. You got to find another position for them. They not the ones that the kid is gonna follow. That the community gonna follow. Cause there been so much distrust. You gotta get people in there that they trust.
So it's not a model that really can turn around these schools. What we really need is a framework. What we're calling for a blue ribbon commission from the newly elected school board in November that can actually build a framework for how do we properly use our facilities to better serve students.
I'm just going to ask the question that everybody at home is asking. And look, Tia and I get it. We were here during the Rahm Emanuel administration. You know the blowback he got from closing 50 CPS schools. But why can we not just get to the point where we're like, this is not making ends meet. We got to close schools like this.
I think most people are at that point. And what I would really expect and ask viewers to think about as they take votes in November for the first fully elected school board in Chicago history is who are those candidates that are ready on day one at this Chicago school board fully elected to take on some of these really big issues. If they're not ready with that plan on day one, they're going to be floundering and dealing with crises every day. There's a lot of challenges at Chicago public schools. That is why we're calling for this excellence agenda at CPS, and that includes a Blue Ribbon Commission for planning facilities better.
Austin, really quickly, because they've given us the wrap here, but I have to ask this question. If they were to close this school, Frederick Douglass, where is the nearest school, the closest school?
There are several schools in Austin where these students could go, and indeed, many students at the school have already chosen other schools. So this is a small number.
So now they shutting down Frederick Douglass High School with a black mayor that just lost the Chicago Bears. Got a black police chief. Come on, man. I ain't wrong for pointing it out, man. I'm just saying. That's it. I'm just saying, man. Is sanctuary cities, examples like this in the sanctuary cities, like on the west side of Chicago, is it dangerous for the FBAs? Should it be another great migration from these democratic cities of black people to red states? Should it be a great migration? Because it seems like that's the only way it's going to be a true change within a lot of black families. If they get themselves in another position, it's like at one time people had to move out to California because of the South. Shit wasn't going right in the South. Motherfuckers had to move even to Chicago because shit wasn't going right for the South. Now, are we having to do another great migration out of these blue democratic cities to cities that's more about the foundational black Americans? That if you about America, they behind you. Other than keeping this mindset of vote blue no matter who. We gonna vote black because they gonna do something for black people. We not gonna vote for the white man because they not gonna do nothing for black people. That ain't the playbook no more. They got people losing their jobs, crying to the students, can't high bills, and ain't nobody trying to give no niggas no free food stamps for the half of the year, for the whole year, free housing. Now you see up in New York, now they talking about freezing rent for these niggas, for some immigrants. They ain't never talked about freezing rent for no goddamn black people. The FBAs. But they fighting hard for everybody, for this other group of people fighting real hard. It's sickening, man. Make sure you stay pulled up and rolled up. You know, I'm glad that you showed up. To comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and do it again. Dropping game once again. Boy still tripping on what Vino once said. So now it's Vino versus the beat. Get you a blunt and a bottle and so gang. It was a Monday morning. I woke up at 10:50. I had 10 missed calls. I missed out on 1050s. I got up quick. Got my teeth brushed by Vicky. She fixed me breakfast, cleaned me necklace, and creased up me dickies. Boy, you know I'm picky. Especially when Lil V pick weed. The homie pulled up toy box, freaked out. I called it Christie's. Dropped off my meds. He say the crop is from Biggs. Hit the blunt one time, had the boy stuck like crazy legs. What? Let me get up, make the dope jump. Now I got ups. Bitch ass nigga say I'm uppity, cause I'm up off P&D. Yeah, my trap, keeping them up at night. They called the PD. Business never personal ever since I was listening to EPMD. Lil VV, no. Now them hoes call me capital V. JR my polo bag full of weed in jars. In bars and stars, chopping it up with players like Marta Star. East side shit, it's the type of shit you get when you own the east side, bitch. Sell a whole brick, sell a fiend a nick. Make the block hot like Phoenix. Especially over on 28th, where young niggas sell you 28s. But fun pulls up on 28s and do all this before they 28. Tell your bitch she better go on 20 days. If she wanna fuck with a nigga from the 8th, then she better make more than what I make from the 20th to the 8th. From the 20th to the 8th. Okay, see. 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 Okay, see.